What's going on, guys? Bojo672 coming to you guys with it right now. So, Phillip Daniels, the defensive line coach, has said some really nice things about Shareef Miller. And Shareef Miller, the fourth-round pick out of Penn State, has been turning heads like crazy. I want to go over what Phillip Daniels said to Penn Live, to the media over there. So I want to go over that right now. I've been pleased with him. Daniel said, young guy coming into a new situation for a team like this that's been successful and got a lot of successful guys around you. And those guys are helping him. Our defensive ends are reaching out to him, helping him out. And that's what it's about. We all help each other get better, but I'm pleased with where he's at. The first trait that you want to see in a guy is being smart, Daniel said. He's a smart player, and then you want a guy that can run. In our defense, you have to run as ends because we have to close and run down the line and make tackles down the line, and that's what you got to do. If you can run, this is how it says, you almost there where you need to be. That's some very high praise, okay? And I know a lot of the defensive line loves Phillip Daniels and what he brings to the table for the defensive line. I do miss Chris Wilson, but he had to go. He was up for contract. So the first thing that, I think as a defensive end in a 4-3 scheme, or probably any scheme, it really doesn't matter, but especially a 4-3, you got to be a defensive end that's got a high motor. You got to have a high motor on the outside. You can't run out of gas. You have to learn how to close the outside gap so quarterbacks or running backs can't scramble or run to the outside. With this kind of attention that Shareef Miller is getting, I'm very happy with it because you do have guys like, you have Derek Barnett coming off an injury that's going to make it to training camp. Chris Long is gone. He retired. You have Brandon Graham signed to a big deal, and he's ready with a big chip on his shoulder to really lean into this year and some double-digit sack numbers this year. Vinny Curry is another guy that we brought back. So another guy that, isn't the most disruptive guy. Actually, I can't even say that. He's actually pretty disruptive. He's not the worst guy, not the worst defensive end, but for some reason, Vinny Curry just works in our system and just can't play for another team. And he will play with the Tampa Bay Bucks and didn't really do too well and got injured on top of it. So they don't really have a good year. But Josh Sweat is another guy you have to look at too, because in 2018 preseason games, he was showing he got a few penalties in some preseason games, but he showed a lot of trust with his pass rush. I saw him pushing tackles like it was nothing. So I'm hoping to see something big from Josh Sweat, but I haven't heard much for Josh Sweat, but you never know. But when it comes to the attention that Shareef Miller is getting, could he be better than Josh Sweat? Could this actually happen? You could fill in as the third or fourth defensive end. It'd be nice to have, nice to have Josh Sweat and have Shareef Miller be those two guys for the future that can come in and start being productive. All I want to see from Shareef Miller this year is that he could close the gap. He can get to the quarterback. I don't even care about the sack numbers because with the 4-3, wide 9 defense, you're not really looking for the sack numbers. It's nice to get them. But when you get pressure, you could be a defensive tackle, defensive end. You get pressure and you make the quarterback go a different direction. You make the running back go a different direction. You're doing your job regardless. You're doing your job regardless. So you're helping your other teammate out. If you're getting doubled, if you're Fletcher Cox, you're getting doubled. You're pushing two guys. You're freeing up a lot. You're freeing up one-on-ones on that defensive line, which is a good thing. This is why we bring in Malik Jackson. This is why, Fletcher Cox is the $100 million man that, that still could beat double teams if he has to, or could hold a double team while getting pressure at the same time. So when you look at Shareef Miller, there's a lot of upside. I think the one thing that Shareef Miller needs to do is, he needs to, technique-wise, Jim Schwartz mentioned in his last press conference that Shareef Miller just needs to learn a little bit more technique, a little bit more finesse, NFL technique, needs to gain a little bit of weight, get a little bit stronger, needs more upper body strength. But other than that, guys, to be honest with you, I'm very excited about Shareef Miller. It would really work out so well if a Penn State guy like Shareef Miller would work out here. And, in this past draft, we didn't get one of those high pass rushers, which I think if we did move up, in the top 20, top 15, could have got one of those guys. But unfortunately, which I'm not mad about because, I think Andre Dillard was a great pick. But looking back at it right now, I think Shareef Miller fits really well. I think the Eagles thought that Shareef Miller would come off the board earlier, which they were surprised that he didn't. Just like, Shareef Miller was on their board for a while and was surprised that he wasn't taken. So I was really happy with that pick. And, I don't think this is with Shareef Miller, I don't think he is a long project. I think that he's a 2-year guy, maybe a 1-year guy. Maybe he just needs one. Honestly, guys, he just needs to get thrown into the fire, honestly. He just needs to get thrown into a game, and he just needs to work. And that's kind of what it's all about, because once you hit practice squad, you're not going to get your chance. And sometimes when you get your chance, it's very hard to get a starting job from being a practice squad player. It is very hard. It's not easy. You just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And most of the time you're just put into games because of injury, or that's pretty much it. So high expectations. The Eagles and Phillip Daniels, the defensive line coach, has high praise on Shareef Miller. And you know what? I don't think he's going to be a long project. I think this guy he's got some finesse to him, and I think he's ready to play. And I think we're going to see in preseason what he's all about. As long as I see him getting pressure, as long as I see him at least getting to the quarterback with the third or fourth string, just to see what he does. And if he really does too much too well, then he's ready to be in this rotational lineup with the defensive end. So, a lot of buzz going around, so can't really complain. They talk about Joe Osman as well on the defensive end position. Howie Roseman has high praise for Joe Osman, another guy that's sat out last year. And I think this is going to be a second year in the league, I think, if I can remember, because I think he was a rookie last year. But other than that guy, Shareef Miller, high praise for that guy. And, I just hope, he does well. We really need to get younger on the defensive line. We really do. Young guys that start coming in, we got to start drafting well. Joe Douglas ain't here anymore, so we got to start drafting well and doing our thing. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about Shareef Miller, his progress so far, and what do you think is going to happen to him this year? Is he going to start? Is he going to be in the rotation? Is he going to not make the team? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you guys whenever I see the comments and see what's going on. So I'll see you guys later. So shake squad up, fly will fly.